Today we ask the question, what if we put all primary Gundam timelines into a single focused one? How would the story play out? Let's talk about that. Mankind has moved into space, yet tensions between the Earth government and its colonies persist. In an attempt to put the colonies in its place, the Rockefeller Foundation creates unmanned machines known as mobile dolls to stop the colony's Gundam terrorist attacks. The Zero system was developed for the Wing Zero and eventually placed in the Epion Gundam. This provided its pilots uncouth reactionary agility in their Gundams. As the battle continued, each side became progressively more desperate. An alternative to the Zero system was developed called the Alan Vanian system, which allows the Gundam pilot to directly interface with the suit. With Gundanium reserves low, a new type of armor was created, nano-laminate armor. It's still incredibly resilient as its predecessor, but much easier to produce. The Rockefeller Foundation's greatest mistake was giving mobile dolls free will and the ability to reproduce on their own. It was no longer a war between ideologies or nations. It was a fight for survival of the human race. I started off easy picking the After Colony timeline, as it's kind of shallow in terms of prior world building to the events of the story, so you could just kind of slide in mobile dolls up to mobile armors in IBO, as you'll see. After this great war with the mobile armors, formerly known as mobile dolls, the Gundam saves humanity from the brink of annihilation from the autonomous mobile armors. The Gundam is one of many, and its frame is passed down through the Asano family for generations. A new foe of unknown origin arrives to the Earth's sphere with technology far greater than anything humanity has seen since the Calamity War. The Asano's Gundam frame is damaged and the AV system is inert. Thus the Age system was developed and put in its place to eventually learn how to counter the technology of this new unknown enemy. The UE turns out to be surviving humans from a failed Mars colonization effort from before the Calamity War. After the Battle of Bat Extermination, an older Fleet Asano would propose a new world peacekeeping force, Gjallarhorn. The war with the Vegans would continue for decades until their ultimate defeat. Second Moon would be destroyed and many Vegans would be forced to live on the surface of Mars. Gjallarhorn made no effort in curing the sickly Vegans from the Mars race, instead forcing them to mine the newly discovered half-metal. One mobile armor survived throughout the Calamity War, Sid. Sid survived due to protecting an old Rockefeller Foundation arsenal. An unknown scientist attempts to utilize the modified AV system known as the Gun format to convert the entire Earth sphere into data for personal reasons. Their efforts were in vain and any mentions of the events in history were removed. Eventually, orphans from Mars rise against their Gjallarhorn oppressors, which leads to Gjallarhorn to reform into the Earth Federation. The barbaric new type of human being X-Rounder evolved from eons of war die out during the long period of peace after the end of the Vegan conflict. As you can tell there, an abridged version of Age events happen, which then leads into the events of Iron-Blooded Orphans, and then squeezed in between there is the events of Witch from Mercury. In an attempt to solve the continuing issues of humanity living in space, advanced gene manipulation was used to make humanity more resilient. George Glenn is one of the first of these new coordinators, which he announces to the world before leaving on a 14-year trip to Jupiter on the Tutalski, a Jupiter's-class spaceship of his own design. Xian Zoom Daikun claims that the space colony should be independent from the Earth Federation. He also presents the new type theory, that humanity on its own will evolve to survive and thrive in space. Xian Zoom Daikun is killed after he takes control of Side 3. Dagun Soto Zabi takes over the Republic of Xi'an, reforming into the Xi'an Alliance of Freedom Treaty, combining with its other like-minded colonies. The Bloody Valentine incident occurs when the Earthnoid supremacists inside of the Earth Federation's nuke a space colony, leading to the development of neutron dammers and a regression in mobile suit technology since they can no longer utilize nuclear reactors. Zaft immediately rearms and replaces its mobile suits with ones powered by batteries and use ballistic firearms and metal swords of old. The Earth Federation takes heavy losses with their machines of war being inoperable, but they have a plan. Far away on a lone space colony, Side 7 Noah, the Earth Federation creates 5 new mobile suits using a newly developed variant of old Vegan electromagnetic armor called Phase Shift Armor. This new armor uses energy to defend against physical attacks instead of electromagnetic armor, which defends against beam attacks. These G units are made specifically to defend against Zaft's mobile suits, which use physical weaponry, since the banning of nuclear power restrict beam technology. As a natural, Giran Zabi believes in natural superiority, while as a coordinator, Kaisilia Zabi believes in coordinator superiority. After Dagun perishes, this division of beliefs causes the Zaft's dictatorship to fall due to infighting, allowing the Earth Federation to defeat Zaft. After the war, the Earth Federation forces Zaft to reorganize into the puppet government Republic of Xi'an. After so many wars and so much reform, the Earth Federation's power has decreased significantly, leading to more colonies claiming independence from the Federation. Some colonies even tried claiming ownership of the Earth, and the colonies started fighting again. Small skirmishes eventually became 1v1 duels. Each colony was arming their fighters the best they could scrounge up with their limited resources. These mobile suits were designed in a way to look like the powerful Gundams from the not-too-distant past. These Gundam fights are now performed for the sake of governmental actions and entertainment to the people who enjoy the thrill of fighting without the loss of life. A new age was upon humanity, but that age would not last long. The first official Gundam fight occurs to determine the new ruler of the Earth sphere. Many of these Gundam fights occur over the next few decades, until, during the 13th Gundam fight, Neo Japan develops an incredibly advanced autonomous Gundam, which will utilize nanites to save Earth from its slow degradation after centuries of war and humanity's waste of destroying the ecosystem. An era occurred when the ultimate Gundam lands on Earth, rewriting its programming to destroy humanity to save Earth. This Devil Gundam drops countless colonies onto Earth, killing 99% of humanity, but Neo Japan's 13th fighter defeats the Devil Gundam, saving humanity from complete extermination. After the destruction of their home, humanity still refuses to give up. Over many centuries of famine, sickness, etc., humanity rebuilds, creating massive space elevators to go to and from space. Peace does not last, as the tech taboo was breached, and humanity again brought its own downfall, with many going into cryosleep in an attempt to wake up to a new, healthy world. And now we skip ahead to the far future, after humanity slowly rebuilds itself. Eventually, a certain battle with moon people end in the late 19th century of the new calendar, unbeknownst to many in the world. Ages later, Aeolia discovers the remains of Turn A and Turn X. After discovering that war machines like these have existed for eons before impacting modern society, he's filled with determination to bring humanity together, and thus Celestial Being is made with a plan to unite humanity. Eventually, a new kind of human would be discovered, innovators, and humanity would encounter and befriend the Else. Obviously, that wasn't a fully fleshed out story, but it was just a nice setup of timeline events to show a whole beginning and end. Obviously, I didn't put them all concurrently. They just don't fit like that most of the time. Some do overlap, but some will succeed. It's just the way the storylines will play out. Wing was first, because the mobile dolls became the mobile armors of IBO. IBO with this Mars plot lines obviously connect back a bit to Age with their Mars plot lines. During the events of the Fusion Calamity War and Wing timeline, you would get the X-Rounders from Gundam Age. Whether or not I've decided it was like a mutation of the Zero system leading to people being able to see the future outside of the system itself is up to you. When the war is over and the Earthnoids rebuild their home, Mars is forgotten and they become the unknown enemy, aka Vegans. A young boy named Flit Asano would pilot his family's damaged Gundam freight where he installs the Age system. He's able to defeat the Vegans, and seeing their brutality, he creates Galahorn. Depression of the Martian Vegan people occurs, leading to the rise of Tekken. At the same time, an unknown scientist scrubbed from all records uses a modified AV system called the Gun format to try and digitize the Earth sphere for personal reasons. They fail. That's the plotline of Witch from Mercury. It's very short and self-contained, doesn't really have a huge effect on the overall Earth sphere. Now the event of Tekken causes Galahorn's leader to revise its governing policies. The disease known as Mars Ray still permeates throughout the outer colonies, but during this time of reform, the X-Rounders fade from history. Obviously there, Tekken is an offshoot of Vegans, and Mars Ray still exists, which will go into CE's coordinator program, and X-Rounders fade because it was only a wartime thing, unlike new types. Obviously I just combined UC and CE since they're similar beats. It obviously wasn't that hard because the direct parallels are there with Xeon and Zaft and yada yada. George Glenn is the first human made through gene manipulation to solve the Mars Ray's problems. Along with that, new types are discovered. Some call it a revised version of the old X-Rounders, but the superior evolutionary element Destined Factor from Seed is more similar but falsely flagged as a new type power. In Seed, it is described by Andrew Waldfield that the Seed was like a berserker state, and this berserker state, not connecting it to the further past with Vikings or such, it is connected to the X-Rounders. I would call things like X-Rounders and Seed Factor Wheel as more of a natural mutation rather than an evolution like new types are. Similarly to Innovators being a mutation created from pure GN particle exposure. So technically if an X-Rounder and the Seed Factor didn't die out between long periods of peace, you could potentially have a new type with the X-Rounder gene or the Seed Factor being mutated by the GN particles even further to utilize a true Innovator's quantum brainwaves, which is just some really gobbledygook power scaling stuff you'd see in like a Dragon Ball Z fandom type thing, but it's just some silly stuff I was just having fun with. Eventually most space colonies become independent as the great governmental power's strength falls war after war. which causes colonies to make Gundams to fight one another for power. Eventually, these skirmishes become the Gundam Fight Tournament. During the 13th Gundam fight, New Japan accidentally creates the Devil Gundam, which drops countless colonies onto Earth. It is later defeated by Domon, saving the human race from extinction, but the damage was already done. And this is where I bring up the tech taboo eventually. AIs were outlawed by the mobile armor incident, which was eventually breached by Neo Japan, which then caused the downfall of Earth. The afterwar timeline slowly rebuilds into the Reguild century, but the tech taboo created to prevent another Devil Gundam or any other form of weapon of mass destruction. This includes the Zero system, AV system, gun format, Psycho Frame, whatever else you could think of from other shows, from ever being created again is violated, and humanity ruins the whole soul system once more. The short events of Turn A occur while humanity rebuilds themselves almost from the ground up. Eventually, Alien Chamber discovers Turn A and Turn X wrapped in a cocoon and realizes humanity will never unite with one another unless he does something about it. Then the slightly skewed events of Gundam 00 take place, and then eventually humanity becomes Noble Bright Corps. At the end of Awaken the Trailblazer, it's sort of like this hopeful Star Trek-y vibes. There's, mutants everywhere, probably new types, who cares, pure GN particles for everyone, and some people are also a little alien hybrids, I guess. But then, what else is after that? You could pretend to put the build series in like this calm period after everything. It's a little weird, but it's also like, oh, Age of Empires exists, of like Rome and like other shit beating the hell out of each other. And that's my explanation of how I would combine all timelines into one. I'm not counting any UC alternatives or any other alts. I thought it was just an interesting what if to do. So thank you for watching that and also being interested. I appreciate it.